G'day, Shauno here. I'm here to talk to you quickly about it's got to be my go-to. I do love it. I'm a massive fan. I'm a big fan of Pro Lure generally. Not sponsored, not affiliated, so I just love the stuff. It's awesome stuff. Super versatile, but let's jump into it. So the two ways I like to rig a prawn, the old 92 mil Clone Prawn, and you know what? Doesn't really matter the colour. Really, contrast is what you're after. And that's why, if it's a super bright day, you don't have to have a striking visual contrast, yeah, as in your much darker colours, because it's already contrasted pretty well. So I like to go natural where possible. That is more of a contrasting lure, I would say. That sort of darker green with some flake in there, and there's a bit of an orange belly. You may not really be able to see that very well. This 92 mil lure with a 1.6 or a 1.8 is great for your general sort of sand edges. You can flick around the edges of weedy patches. Yeah, this is really my go-to. I love it. I catch a ton of fish on it. I put a lot of fish in the esky. It's just one of those lures that consistently catches me good eater size flathead. The bigger flathead, there are other lures for that. I haven't caught a whole ton of big flathead. I'm really just starting into that big lure space, but I've caught a couple recently, so yeah, I'm looking forward to doing more of that work. But for the time being, if you want to get out there and catch a few flathead for the table, the Clone Prawn, it's priced really well. You can fish it really easily. It sits standard jig heads really well. Again, 4.0. You can go to 1.8 on the shallows, 1.6. You can go to 3/4 if you want to fish harder current, and that's what I want to talk to you about next. So the next rigging option for these, I've got a 4.0 in a weedless hook, as you can see there. Most weedless hooks are going to work for you. You don't have to worry too much about the sort of the arc on that belly here, because it's going to fit this Clone Prawn really well. Whilst it's a solid bait, I haven't had any problems with the hookup rate, which is really surprising, because it is, I guess, a bit tougher to. You can see that there's a fair bit of pressure I need to apply on the tail end, but I guess it's that enough of that belly is just able to be pushed down when you are pulling that lure into the fish's mouth, and it catches really well. I mean, always handy to have that hook point nice and true, I guess, but it's still really weedless. So how I like to fish these, I love fishing these with a 3/8 head. You could go half. I think it's probably a bit overkill, but you can fish this with a 3/8 head. You can drift along a rock wall. I like to fish rock walls when it's getting about sort of a decent current, like middle tide sort of current. I mean, there are going to be days where your tide's just ripping, in which case you'll need to drift really well. But look, if a wall is getting hit with current, and I don't mean alongside the wall, I think that's a different situation, but if it's being hit head on with current, this is your go-to. You put on a 3/8. That little sort of attached weight that I've already shown you with, sorry about that one, shown you with these here without the goggle eye. That's just going to bump down that rock wall. I've caught many a flathead doing that, so it's a proven winner. I love that 3/8 on a rock wall. On weed, those heads also come in a sort of 1.6, 1.8, so much lighter. Now, if you see those big sandy bays, especially cooler months of the year, the flathead are going to be sitting there receiving sort of that run-in tide, where the seawater's a fair bit warmer. You're going to get about a degree and a half, at least in Port Macquarie, is roughly getting about a degree and a half of water temperature change around those areas. But when those flats are starting to fill up with nice warm seawater, sort of the start of winter, this is a great bait. You can get it, you can just big long cast, and you can't always see where all the weed patches are, right? So sometimes the weed patch you can clearly define is too close to you already, so even if you do cast at the edge and you're able to put that precise cast in at the fringe of a weed bed, it probably too close unless the water's got a bit of colour in it. So a lot of variables there. I mean, you can fish this long, you can fish this over weed. So that's the great thing. You don't have to be knowing exactly where that weed bed is to cast on the edge. So this is a great profile for that. Again, have banged tons of flatty on this 92. Yeah, so look, most of the colours work, but the Weedless is usually my go-to. All right, well, thanks for that, guys. I really appreciate you watching this video, and hopefully it's going to be a few more things to come. I'm just starting to do some reviews now. Again, I'm not sponsored by Pro Lure, but look, it's just a fantastic lure company. I know that not 100% of the process is made in Australia, but they are Australian owned, Australian designed, and we need to support those guys so that we can have really innovative fishing solutions for the Australian market instead of having to rely on US based or even European based baits and systems, although there are some innovations that are being imported by the Pro Lure sort of production process that I'm really impressed with. So look, thanks for watching and keep fishing. Cheers.